All right, hey, welcome back to Lemon Branch Do It Yourself. A couple of things that we wanted to talk about today are hydrangeas. I don't know if you have any hydrangeas. I have a ton of them all over the yard and many different species. But I wanted to talk today a little bit about what do you do with your hydrangeas when you see yellow leaves on them. And usually if you see yellow leaves, it means there's a deficiency in either iron, nitrogen, or magnesium. And of course, the most solid way to figure that out is to test your soil. But if in general terms, and if you don't want to spend the time doing a soil test, there's a couple things to know that can solve this very easily. Typically, hydrangeas take a lot of water all year long, and so they are big feeders is what we call them, and so they go through nutrients in the soil a lot. So it's important to fertilize them and also to either increase the soil, the pH balance, or decrease it. Most hydrangeas are acid loving, especially if you want them to be pink, which most of mine are. I have some white ones, but most of them are pink. I don't have the blue. So a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today, specifically about what they look like here. So you will notice that if you have hydrangea leaves on your new growth, which this is new growth for the spring, and they are yellow with the green variegation in between, that is typically a deficiency in nitrogen. Okay, now the opposite of that is if the yellow is on the older leaves. If the yellow is on your old leaves that were there for the winter, that is a deficiency in iron. So the way to solve that for the iron deficiency is to get some chelated iron. And you can get that at Home Depot or, you know, a local store where they have like fertilizer and things like that. And then the other way to supplement and just in general terms, like a best practice for your hydrangeas to be healthy, is to also add in an overall fertilizer that has nitrogen, iron, and magnesium all within the fertilizer. So you can see here, the new growth is the main issue that these particular hydrangeas are having. And so that's the deficiency in the nitrogen. So I want to show you this one. This is a different species over here, and it's got the same problem. So you can see in the soil, you know, it's nicely watered over here. It's not dry. And these other two plants are newer and they are doing very well. You can see the green in their leaves. Now, the green in this particular plant, this is from last year. These are leaves from last year, but you can see this new growth is yellow. All right, so if you see that, if you spot that, then you know that you're going to want to supplement your hydrangeas with that nitrogen. So back over here to what we're going to do is I want them all to come in like my ones over there, like the baby pink and the dark pink. I want them all to really pink up. And so make sure that that soil is more acid balance rather than not. So we're going to add some lime. And this also has some magnesium elements to it as well, so that should help. And then this particular plant food is specifically also for azaleas, rhododendria, and hydrangeas. So it has a really good balanced mix of nitrogen as the key leading ingredient, which we know I said is the problem here based on how the leaves look, but also adds in the different elements and ingredients of magnesium, iron, and other kind of a comprehensive mix and blend of ingredients that will feed the hydrangeas as a good supplement. So we want to put that around the hydrangeas. So how you do it in particular with hydrangeas is you don't want it on their leaves, so you want to get some out of your bag. And what you do is you just sprinkle it and spread it around specifically the leaves of the plant at the base of your plant, okay? And so we'll do the same thing with our nutrient fertilizer here, and you can do this at the same time, so you only have to do it once. And then you want to do it monthly after that, so you just sprinkle it around the base, all right, and then water it in. So our sprinklers will come on and water this in. So one thing to keep in mind too, if you have yellow on your hydrangea plants, It also could be a sign of overwatering or underwatering. So you just want to make sure and check. We said that they take a lot of water, and they do. So the way to spot that is if they are wilting. So if your leaves are wilting and they're kind of just falling over and everything's sagging, you know that they need some more water. And then you want to make sure that you also don't overwater them. So deep watering, regular, consistent watering will help them stay the most healthy. If you do notice that they've dried out and everything is wilting, then go ahead and add, some additional water, a couple of good deep soakings, and that will get the leaves to revive and, be back up in no time. Okay, so how do you take care of your hydrangeas? We'd love to know. If you have great comments or suggestions that you are able to share with our followers and subscribers, please leave a comment and like and subscribe for more content like this, and we'll see you next time. So this is another species of hydrangeas, and you can see that this one is perfectly watered. It's green all over. There is none of that variegated yellow in the leaves for this particular plant. So this one's good. I would just give it a normal fertilization and wouldn't do anything additional to this particular hydrangea. All right, you can see I've got some more over here. And this particular plant is doing pretty good in terms of the color of leaves and the water that it gets. Along the fence back here, these hydrangeas are on bubblers, and so they get watered right at the root and do really well that way. This one, you can see a little bit of the new growth is starting into that yellow, so I'm for sure going to add the nitrogen back to that, as well as I want to make sure that they come out with the pink flowers and add in some of that acid balance to get them to produce pink, because you can see all of them have blossoms on them. So further down the line here, we've got some more. I've got some more of the same species. You can see these ones are slower to come out. You can see that I've got some yellow here too, so I'm going to be treating for that. And they don't have the flowers on them just yet. They're the slowest ones to come. And then down here, this particular plant, for whatever reason, it gets the most sun and gets the most heat of the day. And so they can be really sensitive to that. This is the one that it's on the bubbler. And while all of them get plenty of water under the bubblers, and this gets the same amount of bubble, we've checked the volume of the water. Sometimes you just have to come out and give it a little extra TLC, especially in the heat of the summer, because it does get the most sun. And so you can see it start to wilt by the end of the day. So sometimes I'll just come and do a deep watering, a full can full, and that revives it. And it actually does really well. You can see it already has the blooms on it. All right, I'm wondering if any of you have these type of hydrangeas. These are absolutely fantastic. They are the white, circular, and these stay white. Even if I were to put the lime on it, they are not pink, they're not blue, they are beautiful, almost like a snowball white is how they look. And this particular hydrangea, I wanted to show you how we train these up. So the blossoms, you can see they're going to be huge, and they are very heavy, top heavy, once they grow up this high. And their stalks, their stems, no matter how I cut them in the winter, even if I only cut a little bit off, if I cut halfway down to promote the growth, the blossoms are so big and beautiful, they are too heavy. So what you can see in here where we started is we got just some string off of Amazon, so easy to get that, and a ton of it. And so what we did was we started down here at the first of the season. In fact, it's grown so much since then. So we started at the very bottom to contain the stalks. Then we did, about 6 to 8 inches up, another round around the plant as it grew. Then we have another one right here that we put up a couple weeks later, because they really start to spurt up in growth, just to contain it so they don't fall over. Because they do that. We've made that mistake before where they fall over, and then the plant is just kind of ruined for the rest of the season. Then you can see we have one more layer up here that's just gently holding the stalks up so that they don't fall over from the weight of the blossoms. So, and then you can see that we have a stake back here holding the overall plant around some of the first tie-ups that we did at the first of the season. The other thing to note about doing it this way is the leaves do cover up the rope, and then also it is a much better result. We've made the mistake of doing it too late in the season when the blossoms are already there and it's falling over, and then so to be able to get them cinched up, it just made it look weird. It didn't look nice and full and natural. So anyway, if you have these kind, that's one of the tips that we've learned. These absolutely grow in any type of soil. They are extremely hardy through the winter, through heat, drought. They are fantastic. They don't require as much water. So this particular kind is a really good option if you want hydrangeas and don't have a lot of water or just don't want to spend that much TLC on your hydrangea plants.